Hi, today you'll be watching a video on how to clone a campaign in Klaviyo. We'll teach you how to not necessarily create it from scratch, but clone it so then that way the segmentation is pretty similar. And for the most part, you can see everything that was done in the previous campaign and then just make updates as necessary. This video is a clip from our Educational Friday series that we have here internally at Flowium for all of our project managers. Hopefully it's valuable to you and you enjoy. Thanks.
We would click campaigns. And then just to create a new campaign, very straightforward, you can either start from scratch. I don't like to start from scratch personally. I like to clone from previous campaigns because all the exclusions that Klaviyo pros use will be included in your next campaign. If you start from scratch, you have to go through, figure out what exclusions they use, what inclusions you want to use for segmentation purposes. So you can click on quite literally anyone. I usually try to choose one that's most similar segmentation-wise to the campaign that I want to send. So you just click these three buttons, click clone, and then I'm going to name this test, but you would just name it your campaign name. So, and then the list, you would just basically choose the list that you want to send to. So usually we send to engaged, which I need to find. Here we go, 90 days engaged. And then you would clone the campaign. So now that the campaign exists, you get to this recipients page. So you make sure that your campaign name is correct. And then this is where you have the opportunity to edit the segmentation according to what makes the most sense for what you're doing for your campaign. So if you need to include another list, go ahead and include that other list. With regards to the exclusions, a lot of these exclusions are just the standards of what we have across the board for the Klaviyo pros. So I don't tend to mess around with this too much. The only thing that I would look at is exclusions that I used for the previous campaign that no longer apply for this. So like this one received 010621 campaign, that's not necessary. Campaigns purchase cloth mask, this is not necessary. Any that have exclude in brackets, those are usually pretty important, so I would keep them in there. But again, unless you have kind of gone into like advanced segmentation and you've come to an agreement with the client where they don't want to include an exclusion, then I just wouldn't really mess with this section. And then you have kind of these toggles here. Skip recently emailed profiles. So this will skip anyone who's received an email in the last 16 hours. This is really important to leave on in case someone has received a flow email. You don't want to be bombarding them. The only time I've ever turned this off was for an initial Black Friday campaign, because that's one that you just want to get across the board to as many subscribers as possible. So unless the campaign is like of utmost urgency, like you must get it out to every single subscriber, do not turn this off. This will show you how many estimated recipients will actually be receiving the campaign. And then the include tracking parameters. I'll be totally honest, like full transparency. I don't know specifically what this does, but it's always on for the previous campaigns that the Klaviyo pros have done for us. So I just leave it on.
If I remember right, this has to do with a lot of the Google Analytics and being able to track for the client side, mostly, because we don't mess with it too much.
Yeah. So I don't know the exact like finite details of that, but as soon as I read additional tracking information, I know our Klaviyo pros love to track info on the campaign. So I'm like, I think that's a good one. Let's leave it. And then with customized tracking parameters, I always leave this off because Klaviyo does a really good job of automatically tracking the parameters themselves. So once you feel comfortable with this side of things, you can save and continue to content.